Birmingham Airport's joined a campaign to urge the government to cut the amount of tax paid by passengers. Air passenger duty currently raises £2 billion a year in revenue.
Birmingham is one of 8 airports lobbying the Chancellor to use his autumn statement to reduce the tax. It's hoped this will encourage airlines to use regional airports with spare capacity instead of London. Here's our political editor, Patrick Burns.
Dark days at the departure door. Like every other major airport outside London, Birmingham's passenger numbers have been falling for 2 years now, and airport passenger duty doesn't exactly help win them back.
I suppose it's just scandalous. It's what you pay your taxes for, surely.
It's a great deal of money, to put on top of the ticket price.
To get some idea of the sort of money we're talking about here, let's just look at 3 of the flights on the destination screens this morning. Belfast City there at 8:35, then at 9 o'clock New York, Newark, and at 9:15 Cancun in Mexico.
My 225-mile flight to Belfast is taxed at the basic rate of £12. But for that flight to New York, it's £60, and for the nearly 5,000-mile service to Cancun, it's £75 per person. Environmentalists think it's only fair for aviation to offset what is, in effect, a generous tax break from the Chancellor.
The aviation industry pays no VAT on the fuel that it uses, unlike anybody who drives a motor car. It pays no VAT on the sale of planes, and it pays no VAT on the sale of tickets.
The aviation industry pays its fair way in tax. As companies, we pay tax. As employees, we pay tax, national insurance, the VAT on all the things that we do. The one area where there's a difference is on fuel VAT. But the Chancellor has more than covered its environmental impact through the air passenger duty, which is set to raise £2.5 billion next year.
But stemming the flow of a significant revenue stream would be a tough call for our cash-strapped Chancellor.
Well, Patrick joins us now. So, Patrick, there must be a long line of people queuing up to lobby George Osborne during the run-up, of course, to his autumn statement. Do you think he's paying any attention, listening?
Well, he certainly listened to Northern Ireland. They had a situation there where Continental Airlines threatened to switch their services from New York to Belfast across to Dublin so that passengers could escape UK airport duty altogether. And as you can imagine, the political and business communities rose up as one and lobbied George Osborne and said, come on, you must do something about that. And the result of that is that from Tuesday of next week, if you or I want to fly from Birmingham to New York, we pay that £60 duty we've just been hearing about. But for people flying to New York from Belfast, then the duty is £12. And of course, you can imagine that from the airports and the airlines here, there's a chorus of, well, if it applies to Northern Ireland, it should apply here too.
Yeah, OK, so this statement's about, what, 4 weeks' time? What do you expect him to say exactly?
Well, I think the contents of the autumn statement are, of course, a very closely guarded secret. But what we do know is that there's going to be a package of measures for growth. Now, put that together with the fact that the government, of course, is determined not to build a 3rd runway at Heathrow, with George Osborne's oft-stated commitment to rebalancing the economy, and the idea of a redistribution of routes between London out to the regions does seem to fit together with a kind of logic. And there's more about this on my blog, I should point out. And recently, possibly significantly, David Cameron was asked in the Commons about the effects of airport passenger duty on regional airports, and he said that this was something which the government was, and I quote, keeping its eye on.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll see.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks,
Patrick. There'll be more on this, plus a report on the high levels of fuel poverty in the region on this Sunday's Politics show. That's here on BBC1 at 12 noon.
Now, a campaign